Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and I'm happy to say I got to play against Magnus Carlsen twice in the Bullet Brawls. These are Saturday tournaments, which are bullet games, and well, we're gonna go and analyze those games real quick because, well, it's fun. All right, here we go. I was playing with the black side. This is my first time playing against Magnus Carlsen. Things could not have gone worse. I definitely have the jitters. Let's take a look and see how I blow this game quite badly. All right, he played knight f3, knight f6, g3. Definitely playing it nice and solid here for him. g6, I'm going to go ahead and copy him and fianchetto over here. Bishop g2, bishop g7, castles, castles, c4. This typically happens. We go into like a kind of like an English kind of position. c5, I play the symmetrical position. Knight c6, d4, takes, takes, takes. This is all theory here. Nothing new has been played. Pawn to d6. I do like to play this variation quite a bit as black. Queen over to d3, as you don't want to be in the way if there's any kind of discoveries happening right there. And pawn to a6, a typical idea, is I'm going to try to achieve b5. White has these three pawns, so we're going to try to trade these two off, and hopefully maybe I can attack this pawn later on. Bishop d2, just developing. Rook to b8, rook to c1, pawn to b5. A little idea I've done quite a bit here. And, well, the idea is that if they take, bishop a6 gets played, and now I'm in a pin. I put him in a pin here, and hopefully I'll be able to win back this pawn. And, well, this guy right here, there's only one move to play. He has to play a4. And so the idea is to take and then win the b5 pawn, and then this b2 pawn becomes unprotected. I did mess this up, and this is why I lost the game so fast over here. I played queen to d7 here, and already this was an inaccuracy. And, of course, Magnus does not miss his chance. Bishop c6, kicking my queen away. Here, I probably should have just looked about playing something like queen to b6 here. And some people will try to play bishop to e3, which is not correct, as you can just take on b5 here. And it doesn't matter if you trade. After this, I think black has a good game here. For instance, after pawn takes, queen just takes. And then you can see that the b2 pawn here, of course, I'm very happy to trade queens here. And if they try to take on b6, you just take on d3 over here, threatening another pawn. So, yeah, black is actually winning in this kind of position. But here, I played the mistake. I played that queen over to d7, and he's able to kick me away. Queen over to e6. Bishop c3. Now he's able to hold on to that extra pawn. And, well, two passed pawns over here is not what I was wanting to happen, again, especially against Magnus Carlsen. All right, rook over to c8, just developing. Bishop to d4. A nice little move here. Knight to d5, and this was my blunder. I played so fast, I played knight to d5, and I missed the move here. All right, it's white to move. What do you play here? This was not a hard move. Magnus did not take long to play. Bishop takes over here. And here the idea is very simple. When you take, now you're attacking this knight here over here on d5. Now there was one move I could play, which luckily I found it pretty fast, which is knight to b4 here, forking the queen and forking the bishop. Okay. Magnus went ahead and played queen f3 here. And here, well, you could just go ahead and take this bishop over here. And then afterwards, you could take this bishop at the end. For instance, rook takes. And, well, if they take back, you just take. And if the take happens here, you play bishop takes on b5 because the bishop's hanging at the end. And you're taking the queen, so you should be able to win over here. And actually, not such a bad position. In fact, black is a little bit better here. Of course, I didn't do this. I messed this up even more. After you played the queen over to f3, I took on c6, takes, and I took over here on g7, just missing that my bishop was hanging. All right, now Magnus punishes me with rook takes. Now he's just up an extra piece, an extra two pawns. Again, not the way I wanted to play my, not the way I wanted to go when I played Magnus Carlsen for the first time. The rest of it really is just terrible for me. So we'll just go ahead and skip through this. And, yep, punishment here by Magnus. Ugh. And then he checkmates me very fast. All right, let's go on and check out the second game. The second game was definitely a bit better than the first. Mostly because I got the white pieces, and he plays into a rare sideline that not many people play, I guess. It's definitely something that I've played against a few times against other players, and so I actually created my own theory in this line. So I actually did really well in the opening. With that being said, you know, it's not all about the opening. Before you try to win your game, you're gonna have to get through the middle game, and then of course through the end game. And well, I hear Magnus is a pretty good end game player. So here we start off with e4, g6. He chooses the modern. d4, bishop g7, c3. I love to build this strong center. And he plays this rare move of pawn to c5. I looked it up. I don't think this has an opening name yet, especially whenever you play pawn takes on c5. And this is the move that I've been playing for quite a while. And, well, you just take the pawn, you hold on to it. There's a cool sideline where you can play pawn to b6, and you just gambit the pawn, right? It's just a pure gambit. After pawn takes, you could take back with the queen, or even pawn takes over here, almost looking like a, what is it, the Banco gambit, right? But, well, here, after this, they typically go knight a6 here, and this is when I started realizing, hey, dude, let me just hold on to this extra pawn. And so this is the line I've actually worked out. Bishop e3 to defend it. They usually go queen c7 if not develop the knight over here. And here is my idea. Bishop takes, pawn takes. So here, there is compensation for this, but, I mean, it is an extra pawn. And a lot of times, if black doesn't play correctly here, you can actually just hold on to it. Now, Magnus Carlsen is not the average chess player, so he plays very accurately, and I did miss an opportunity here to actually hold on to the extra pawn without giving compensation. So here, I play knight d2. The idea is to defend the pawn. Typically, the weaknesses here is e4, c5, and then the b2 pawn because of the open file. And e4 gets attacked right away. Here we go, bishop to b7. And here I play this weird-looking move of pawn h3. Again, because I played this position so much, I realized some of the threats that I lose to a lot, right? Here, after knight f6 attacking the pawn, I defend with queen c2 usually. And then they'll play knight to g4, and this bishop's trapped. And, I mean, if you try to play, for instance, let's say knight to f6, queen c2. If I didn't play this, then he would play knight to g4 here, right? And with your bishop trapped here, well, you would just play, I mean, you can leave it here, which it'll get trapped, or you play bishop d4, but then they go e5, bishop goes back, and then the knight will take, right? So that's why I play this h3 pawn to stop this whole idea. Magnus, of course, is not going to let me play so easily. Here he went ahead and played knight f6. I played queen c2, and then he played queen c6. He puts immediate pressure on the e4 pawn. All right, only one move to not lose the pawn. Pawn to f3 gets played. I don't like this move because my knight cannot get to its best square anymore. Castles, knight over to e2, only square for the knight to move to. I mean, at this point, I do hold a half a pawn advantage, 0.5 against Magnus, not saying too much. And here after d5, I made my mistake. Typically, I play this without thinking too much, but there's three moves here to take a look at. You can play e5, pawn takes, or en passant. Which one is best? It's not too hard. You just en passant. Here I'm able to transfer it over to a full pawn up because now the pawn is not doubled and it's not going to become a target anymore. Yes, Magnus will get compensation because he gets more activity. As you can see, look at this. All his pieces are nice and active. The rook's going to have open files here with maybe rook c8, rook to d8. But I'm very solid here. All my pawns are defended, and well, it should be a chess game. With that being said, I messed this up and I played pawn to b5. Now, for those asking why not just take, taking again is good for him because again he needs open files. So here after knight takes d5, I really like black's position. The computer's already saying my advantage is at minimum with black having better lines in here. I only got one line that's good for me. The rest is giving black better odds here. So here I played e5, and this is immediately bad because knight to d7, and he wins back his pawn right away. Yeah, okay. Here we go, pawn f4. I'm going to hang on to my center pawn. Knight takes on c5, knight to d4, attacking the queen, queen over to c7, and here I castled. Now, again, this is a bullet game, so you really shouldn't analyze this too hard or too deeply. But, yeah, I mean, this was a good position, and I just had a hard time because he's playing so fast. In fact, at the end of this, he has an extra 30 seconds versus my 0 seconds. I did flag in this game. Here, e6 got played. I wasn't able to come up with an idea because, again, he's playing so fast. You have that intimidation, plus you just need to survive. So I just played knight to f3, which I didn't like too much as the knight now has this great e4 square. He played a5, and here I missed a very nice idea, which was knight to b5 going to d6, and maybe the other knight jumps over to d4. I played knight g5, terrible move. He punishes it immediately. Bishop a6, a great move here. Attacking the rook, but also controlling this d3 square. Rook e1, another bad move. Now you can see knight d3 will just get a free tempo off the rook. Pawn to h6, kicking my knight because what's it doing there? Knight back to f3, rook over to b8. A very good move attacking b2. Now this is good because, well, where else does the rook go? But also when the knight comes to d3, it's going to be a double attack against the rook and the b2 pawn. This is actually how he eventually wins his pawn back. Here I played knight b3. I mean, why am I not trying to make some trades here, right? And here we played the very good move, knight d3, attacking the rook. I played rook over, and here he wins back the pawn with pawn to a4. Okay, here we go. Knight to d4. Of course, I don't want to lose the knight. And now he takes on b2 with the rook. Yeah, here he is now negative 1.5. He's up a pawn and a half because not only did he win his pawn back, but he also got a rook to the second rank, and now, well, he's got attacking chances. All right, queen takes upon it. I mean, Definitely not a pawn that I need right now, but if you're going to be in a worse position, you might as well have an extra pawn. It does not feel like it at this moment because his pieces are just so active. All right, bishop c4 here. Here he missed a simple move, which was queen takes on c3. But again, he's playing so fast, I'm not going to criticize Magnus Carlsen. Bishop c4, a good little move here. Rook over to d2. Of course, I'm going to try to kick this knight out the way because, well, I mean this rook out here because the rook is so active. Yeah, of course he doesn't do it. He double up. Rook takes, bishop f8. Reround the bishop so it can come into the game. Queen back to d1, threatening the knight. Also bringing my queen back so I can try to, well, just defend over here. Knight back to c5. Queen to e1, and I missed the idea completely. Knight to e4. The knight goes back to its best square, where it's going to be in the center, but also attack this backwards pawn on an open file here on c3. c3 and a2 are the weaknesses here. Rook over to d1, again missing the idea. I probably should have played rook to c2 here, and now queen a5, just winning another pawn here. With that being said, I did miss a very simple move here. Do you see it yet? It's y2 move. What do you play here? Just the simple knight to c6, forking the rook and the queen. Again, not too much criticism. It's a bullet game. We're playing fast. Rook over to a1 to defend a2 pawn, and of course he just grabs my pawn. f5. What do I play this? I'm getting low on time, and my position is lost. I'm just trying to make any move at this point and try to create some kind of counterplay. Knight h4, rook over. Again, I don't know what I'm up to here. Knight check, king over to h2. And here he missed his chance to take because he was playing really fast. I mean, here I'm pretty sure he was expecting to take already, but I didn't take. Now I takes, bishop to f4, rook to b4, g3 defending, rook back to b2. He's got the bishop pair. He's got an extra piece. I mean, like I said, I was very happy to play him, and I did do well in the opening at least, but in the middle game, end game, he's just crushing me now. King back to g1 to get out of this discovery. Bishop c5 check, king h1, bishop to f3 check. And, well, at least I can't say I had a winning position against Magnus Carlsen. I'm up an extra piece here. And actually saying it's a winning position is probably a little too generous. Even though I did win a piece here, he still has lots of pawns, so I'm not sure if this is even really that much better. And if I had the time, I'm not sure if I'd be able to convert it. He played d4 here. Knight back, rook h2. Why did he play that move? Because I flagged. I literally ran out of time. He still had like a plus 30 seconds on his clock, so just to show you how amazing and how fast he is. I was happy I kept up with him for a little while, especially in the opening, mostly because I did know it so well. But yeah, it was definitely a fun experience. All right, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.